to the MMA Fan Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Stu and Blake.
Hello and welcome to the MMA Fan Show. I am Blake Harrison. Joining me as always is Stuart. Hello.
That was one of the loudest hellos. It really rattled my headphones then.
Really? I felt like I started doing the normal kind of like whiffing, and then it went a little bit the start of Feel Good by Gorillaz. I kind of felt like I was going for a little bit of it.
Is it that one?
Well, no, just that, you know, the laugh. I went a bit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish after whiffing you just went, ooh, ooh. That'd been great. Yes, how are you though, mate? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. And do you know what's good today? I think
today?
we've got the lighting better. You don't look super transparent and I don't look super orange.
Yes. Well, the thing is, where I am, I've sort of like shut most of the blinds on the window,
Right.
so there's no light coming in. So it probably, hopefully it looks all right, but for me, it's quite dark in here right now. But that's the only way to make me look not pale.
Yeah. I mean, that's generally how you live your life, isn't it? With all the curtains shut, just sitting in darkness,
Yeah.
questioning everything.
Yeah, I'm starting to think there's a reason, like a link between that and my paleness. But, you know, but just if you sit indoors all day with the blinds shut, just questioning the world, you won't get a tan.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
Or the alternative is don't ever think about anything and just walk around outside aimlessly like I do, like I sit in a trance. And you get this colour, suntan. There
Lovely.
we go.
Well, it is wonderful. I can imagine you doing that, actually. I can imagine you going out, and then 4 hours later, where you been? I don't remember. I've just been walking around.
You're dribbling again? Yeah, sorry.
From your anus. No.
So, look, one of the things that puts a smile on everybody's face is sweets, and you can get your sweets at Fat Candy, who are the sponsors of the MMA Fan Show. And we have some fantastic and exciting news coming very, very soon about a little kind of deal that we've got going on with Fat Candy, but we can't tell you just yet. But in the meantime, you can still use that discount code SWEETMMA to save yourself some pennies on all of those delicious freeze-dried sweets. Right.
Well, the code, if you want to get a little discount for Fat Candy, is Sweet MMA, SWEETMMA.
You know what I said it?
I don't think you did.
I did.
If anyone that's
You
now
weren't
listening to this,
You zoned out.
you can. Is that what happened? Did
Yeah.
I zone out?
I done it.
Oh, mate, that's bad. You did it.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I zoned
Rude.
out.
Just rude.
Please go back, screenshot or screen record that moment, and you can send it to us and prove to me that I had just zoned out and I'm just not listening to Stu Whiffin anymore. Right, let's go. Post 318.
BMF action.
BMF.
I mean, for me, it delivered.
I think so.
Mm.
I think it was a really good card, actually. I think you were right to think that on paper there wasn't much going on. And we're also going to hold our hands up here. I think this is the first show since the inception of the podcast where we have not done a preview to a pay-per-view event.
Correct.
We did our listener questions episode and some news. And I was away. I was in glamorous Dorset for a few days. And we didn't get the chance to do a preview show. But I think there was part of me that was thinking, look, yes, it's Poirier's big night. Yes, there are some fun fights on the card, including the main event. It's going to be fun. But ultimately, there's not much at stake. There's not like huge implications going forward for this fight or that fight or anything like that. And I would stand by that. However, if you're watching UFC 318 just for the love of two human beings getting in a cage and fighting, it massively delivered. There was some cracking fights on this card. You could argue there's 2 fight of the year contenders on this card, I think. And neither of them, funnily enough, won fight of the night, which is insane to me. But yeah, so how did you felt the card overall absolutely delivered? Do we start with the main event?
I think so. Because, the what I think that the UFC done really well here was really honor the work and the sacrifice that Dustin Poirier has made for that organization. And I
Agreed.
thought they'd done a really good job of that. I thought the little montage thing afterwards was really nice. I mean, was this arguably the best retirement package, whatever you want to call it, that the UFC have ever done? Getting to fight in his hometown for a belt, and then gets the kind of all of the kind of accolade afterwards as well. Max being the absolute gent that he is, just going, thanks everyone, this is his moment. And
I loved that from Max.
Yeah.
And we will talk about Max obviously in a bit. But I think the only thing I could compare it to is Robbie Lawler. Obviously, Robbie did not fight for a belt. It wasn't that they took him to his hometown. But the fact that he was an underdog, won his fight, knocked out Nico Price, and then they had that brilliant package at the end, it was emotional. And I think this was emotional as well. I think the UFC obviously went to more effort for Dustin by taking him back to his hometown, a place they hadn't been to for about 10 years, putting him in the main event of a pay-per-view with a belt on the line. I mean, they certainly, this certainly could be the best retirement we've seen in terms of what the UFC has given to a fighter. The only thing I would say is that obviously he didn't get the win, and that would have been even more special if he had got the win and gone out a champion. But yeah, in terms of like prior to the fight, everything the UFC could have done to give him the send-off he deserved, taking him to his hometown. There was the whole thing about Lil Wayne walking him out, which, sure, I mean, you would have wanted him to actually perform or something and actually sing, a bit like we had with like Sinead O'Connor and Conor McGregor. But whatever, they got that walkout thing. They had the video package at the end. There was a lot of celebration of Dustin in the lead up to the fight as well, I think. It was brilliant. And I want the UFC to do more of that. We've seen too many legends retire really unceremoniously. And it's lovely to see situations like Dustin Poirier had this weekend where we get to really thank and honor these fighters that have sacrificed so much and given us as fans so much as well.
100%. So lastly on Poirier, before we get on to Max, Poirier now leaving the sport, do you think that shakes up the opportunities in that weight division there?
Not massively, because I don't know that Poirier was looking at a title shot anytime soon or anything. And there's plenty of people that are in line. So I don't think it shakes things up much at all. I think we can focus on Dustin for a while here and just talk firstly about the fight itself.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit more one-sided, in my opinion, than what you would have wanted for Dustin, because for me, I scored it 49-46. Yes, Dustin had his moments, but overall, I felt like Max was winning that fight. I would have liked it to maybe be slightly closer just for Dustin's sake. But in terms of Dustin going out in a fight where it was Poirier-esque, it was a war, it was a 5-round war, it did go back and forth a bit, and he showed heart and determination up until the very end of the fight. It was a very apt fight for Dustin Poirier to go out on, I think. And I suppose the question now is, do you think he's truly done? Do you think Dustin Poirier will ever come back?
I think he's done. I think you can't, I don't know. I think to have that level of send-off, which we've just discussed, I think it's a bit weird to come back. I mean, I'm also not massively fond of older fighters then making a comeback. We saw it with Jose, and I wish he didn't. I think when he first retired, that would have been perfect. And And yeah, I don't know. It's not for me to say. I'm not a fighter, and I can't imagine what that desire must be when you're watching an event and you think that you've still got it in the gas tank, and you still think, "Oh, I could beat him." Like, it must be very difficult not to phone up the UFC and just go, "Give us a go here." Like, I think this new guy that's knocking everyone out, I reckon I could beat him, but rarely does it go well. And I think Dustin's fought every killer in the divisions that he's fought in, and win, lose or draw, they've always been fun fights. And yeah, I think enjoy hopefully coming out of like the sport with no ongoing health issues or anything. Enjoy your family while you're young, and yeah, just max it. You've done everything you needed to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it is good for him to stay retired. I do think some of these fighters, though, do find it hard. He could take a couple of years off and go, "Oh, I've got that itch again."
If he won, I think it could have been different.
Well, I mean, what I would say is Dustin did look maybe not as good as normal, or maybe Max just looked really good, but I don't think he looks totally out of place. Like, I still think he wins fights in the top 10 of the lightweight division.
100%.
I don't think it's like, oh, Dustin's like done now. I do think there's maybe, if someone said to him, you could fight Conor McGregor or Nate Diaz in a main event of a pay-per-view in 2 years' time, is that too much money to turn down? And both winnable fights, even with 2 years off, you would say?
Possibly. Yeah. I mean, I
would like him to stay retired. I think that's good, but I'm just throwing it out there as like, it's a possibility.
So I think, how many times he fought Conor 3 times, hasn't he? So
yes.
So let's discount the first one because Conor wasn't Conor dollars then. Like, but the second and third fight, I reckon Dustin made really good money down.
Yeah.
And then, anything sort of after that, he's gone on to become, an absolute fan favourite. So I'm presuming he's being paid well for every time he's got in that octagon. And he must have earned really good at the weekend. I think he's got all the money and more now. And I think unless it was a mega fight with maybe McGregor, but I just don't see it happening. I think, he just puts his feet up now and enjoys being, a legend of the sport, future Hall of Famer, and just enjoys it.
That's fair enough. I think I just want to run through his resume a little bit. So he's been in the UFC since 2011. Prior to that, he had 2 fights in the WEC, which is effectively the same thing. But a few fights into his UFC career, he welcomes Max Holloway. In Max Holloway's debut in the UFC, welcomes him in. Triangle armbar finish, round 1, Poirier wins. Then he fights the Korean Zombie in an unbelievable fight. Like, it's a cracker of a fight, that one. And loses in the 4th round to Korean Zombie. Comes back with a win. Then loses to Cub Swanson on a decision fight. Cub Swanson, again, one of our favourites. I love Cub Swanson. He's then got a win over Diego Brandao. Another win. He goes on a 3-fight win streak. Loses to Conor McGregor, round 1. Then he comes back again. Diego Ferreira, who is someone that has been in and out of the top 10, top 15 for a long time now. Yancy Medeiros, Joe Duffy, who famously beat Conor McGregor back in the Cage Warriors days, whatever it was. King Green, he's got a win over. Then he has a random loss to Michael Johnson. And shout out Michael Johnson, who was on this card rolling back the years as well. Round 1 knockout. You're like, oh man, how did that happen? Lost to Michael Johnson there. Then he goes on a great run. Jim Miller, a weird no contest with Eddie Alvarez because of an illegal knee. Then a win over Anthony Pettis. Win over Justin Gaethje. Again, all of these are finishes, by the way. Anthony Pettis, finish round 3. Justin Gaethje, finish round 4. Eddie Alvarez, finish round 2. And then he wins the interim, it was the interim, wasn't it? Lightweight belt against Max Holloway in their second fight in what was an unbelievable fight. That fight was incredible, that second fight they had. Beats Holloway by decision. And Holloway at the time was a featherweight champ and was on an unbelievable undefeated run himself. Then he fights Khabib and loses. And no shame in that, everyone loses to Khabib. Then he goes on another 3-fight win streak. Dan Hooker in, again, an absolutely unreal, like, fight of the year contender fight. Conor McGregor, round 2 win. And then Conor McGregor, round 1 win, whereas obviously McGregor broke his leg. Then he gets his title shot against Charles Oliveira, loses. Comes back, beats Michael Chandler. Then fights for the BMF belt against Justin Gaethje. Again, boom. Then this time he loses, so they're 1-1. Then when everyone's like, maybe Poirier's done now. There's lots of narrative about Poirier being done. And then he comes back and he beats Benoit Saint-Denis, who at the time was looking phenomenal. And in that first round, Benoit Saint-Denis was smashing Poirier. And then Poirier comes back. And then he fights again for the belt, loses to Islam Makhachev. And then in his retirement fight, by the way, gave Islam Makhachev one of his toughest fights. Outside of that first Volk fight for Makhachev, that's probably Makhachev's toughest fight, was that one against Poirier. And then Max Holloway, unanimous decision loss for the BMF belt. I mean, it's such a kind of like a run that the everyman wants to get behind, isn't it? It's like you're putting on phenomenal fights. You are laying it all on the line. You are putting together great win streaks. But then when it comes to the big one, when it comes to Khabib, Charles Oliveira, Islam Makhachev, and then when the BMF belt's on the line, you're already 2-0 up against Holloway, but you lose that one. And it's just like, oh man. It's like Dustin Poirier just embodies this whole thing of being like, I think we love him so much because maybe he didn't quite make it as well. I think there's something about him not quite making it. I know he's an interim champ, but it's not quite the same. But there's something about him not quite making it that I think makes a lot of us love him more.
It's endears you to him, 100%.
100%. And then on top of that, you've got everything he is outside of the cage. He seems to be a loving husband, a loving father. He's been with his partner since before he got into the UFC. He's been with his partner for such a long time. He just showcases himself as an ambassador for the sport regularly. Not to mention as well, the Good Fight Foundation, where he's raising money for causes regularly, selling fight kit, teaming up with Khabib or whatever it is, trying to get money, when obviously with the Conor fight as well, putting money towards his charity and doing good for his community. Like, he is a stand-up guy. He's one of the guys that, like, when you get people that don't understand MMA or don't know much about MMA talking about, Dana White or Trump or Conor McGregor, John Jones, stuff like that, you go, yeah, I hear you, but what about the Dustin Poiriers of the world? Let's shine a light on them a little bit. And why don't, they don't get the press coverage. The bad guys get the press coverage. And that's what is shown to the world as like, oh, that's what this sport is. But actually, if people were fair, they would be shining a light on the likes of Dustin Poirier and going, no, this is also what this sport is. It's good people that have fought so hard to get to where they are from nothing. And then they're giving back to their communities in a really meaningful way. And I just think that needs highlighting more. And if you are one of the people out there, and I'm one of them, that socializes or has friends or is in a job where most people don't understand the sport of MMA, and they will look to the headlines of Conor, Dana, John Jones, all these things, Dustin Poirier is one of our guys that we can say, you don't know, because there's this type of person in the sport as well. And the sport is not necessarily what you think of it, because people like him are also
and
a
Max
part of
Holloway,
the sport.
And
Max Holloway, for sure. Before we get on to Max, is Dustin Poirier the best fighter to never be an undisputed champion? If you need help with this, because I haven't thrown this out, there's some names I'll throw at you. Yoel Romero, Alexander Gustafsson. Dan Henderson's a weird one because he was a champion in Pride, and Pride had the prestige of the UFC when Dan Henderson was fighting in it. I'm trying to think if there's any more people that I would throw up into that mix that have never quite made it to undisputed champion. But obviously you've got the likes of Nate Diaz and stuff, but I don't think you can put their resume against Dustin's.
All your aforementioned.
It feels like he's one of them, right?
I think he is the one. Like,
yeah, do you reckon?
I'd definitely put it above Gustafsson and Yoel. And yeah, I think
because Yoel had.
You are a favourite get UFC gold.
He was a WEC champion, which again, it's sort of the same thing to newer fans. The WEC and the UFC is sort of interchangeable because the UFC didn't have the lower weight classes. WEC was the highest belt you could get if you were, a lower weight class, really. So he wasn't a UFC champion, but he was a WEC champion.
I'm going to go with Dustin. I think it's a good shout. I think it's a fair shout. I mean, you can throw Tony Ferguson in there, but because of the end of his career, it sort of does take the shine away a little bit. Yeah. But there was that point where he was on, what was it, like a 12-fight win streak where you were like, this guy's insane. Yeah.
But yeah, I think, I think Gustafsson, it hurts Gustafsson in a way because, yes, he gave John Jones one of his toughest fights ever until like the Reyes fight and everything. But the fact that Daniel Cormier was also better than him makes me think I can't quite give it to Gustafsson. Romero did have those fights where didn't he like miss weight and get a draw or something with Robert Whittaker when they fought twice for like the belt. Once was maybe interim and once was for the vacant belt around the time Bisping was champion. And Romero was, I think I'd have to rewatch those fights. But I think there's an argument that could be made that maybe Romero won one of those fights. So again, you've got to give props to Romero as well, a guy that never made the was never undisputed champion, but was definitely one of the best guys around and was much older than a lot of people fighting at the time, I think. So yeah, but I think if you're saying Dustin's the best guy to never win an undisputed title, I'm not going to argue with you.
I don't think many people would, mate.
So, Max Holloway, I mean, I love him so much. I just love I love Max so much.
What more could you want from a fighter?
What more? I mean, he brings it every single time. He seems like a really nice guy. I love the floral shorts. I just love the way he fights. I love that, again, he's got the respect. He's such a respectful guy anyway. Like, we look at the Yair Rodriguez fight where he had photo with him in the ambulance afterwards and stuff like that. And then the Justin Gaethje where he's like, hey, I've beat you for basically 4 rounds. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to point to the center of the cage and we're going to throw down for the last 10 seconds. And then he absolutely sparks him. And then he did it again. Like, he was clearly winning this fight with Dustin Poirier. All of the kind of mystical energy of the fight world would be going, hey, it's Dustin's retirement. He's in his hometown. He's never won a belt other than the interim belt before. You're winning this fight. Dustin historically has way more power than you because we saw that in the second Holloway fight. The last thing you want to do in this situation is tempt fate by pointing to the ground and giving him a chance at knocking you out in the last 10 seconds.
Nah, fuck it.
And he does it anyway. Fuck it. Let's go. Point to the middle of the ground. And it's become a thing. It's now a thing where it's like the commentators even said, I can't wait for the last 10 seconds. Because they knew with 17, 18 seconds to go, they knew in 8 seconds time, they're just going to throw down because Max is Max. And that's what he's going to do. And I just love that about him. Yeah. It's so good. And then, as you've mentioned as well, after the fight, gets on the mic, calls out Ilya, which I'll talk about in a minute, calls out whoever wants the BMF belt, says it's Dustin's night, it's Dustin's moment, I'm out of here. What a class act.
Yeah, absolute class act. Do you want some stats on this fight?
Oh, hit me with your stats, Stu Whiffin.
Holloway become the first fighter to beat an opponent after losing twice to him.
Nice.
Holloway also makes history as the first to successfully defend the symbolic BMF belt.
Yes.
Right. That's it.
That's it. I was expecting you to reel off like 5 or 6 stats, but they are still significant stats. Look, defending the belt as well. I don't know. I feel like we all know that the BMF belt is sort of a gimmick, but there's something about it being around the waist of Max Holloway that sort of legitimizes it. Like, that BMF belt has never looked more appropriate as it does being around the waist of someone like Max Holloway.
And how he won it.
And how he won it and how he defended it, the point down, everything. I mean, the BMF title has never felt more significant. I mean, we talked the other week about, America doesn't have any champions anymore. If I'm American, I'm going, yes, I do. My champion is Max Holloway, and he is way more fun than pretty much all the other champions out there. As a fan, I am looking forward to Max Holloway defending his BMF belt way more than I'm looking forward to probably over half of the undisputed UFC belts being defended.
So
whoever Max Holloway defends this belt against, to me, that's a fight I'm going to be anticipating way more than the vast majority of undisputed title fights, because it's Max and it's fun, and there's something about Max holding that BMF belt and defending it that brings just a palpable energy that you don't get with other fights.
Is Max's next fight the BMF belt, against somebody that fits the criteria of a BMF fighter, or is Max going to go back to the division and
I'm losing you a lot with options?
Okay, yeah, we seem to have a little bit of a glitch with the internet, but the audio should be fine. So what do you think is next for Max Blake? Is it BMF super fight with, I don't know, another fighter in the realms of that BMF kind of mold, or is it back to the division, and what is there potential title implications for me now? Like, what's next?
Well, look, he called out Ilya. I'm not interested in it. I don't think we only just saw him get sparked out by Ilya, and there are some people going, yeah, we should just do it. We should just do the Ilya fight. Let's not forget, Max went from never ever being knocked down until the Justin Gaethje fight. He got knocked down. Then the fight after that, he got knocked out against Ilya. And then the fight against Dustin, he got knocked down again. This is a man that until 3 fights ago had never been knocked down as in his entire career. And this is a man that has had wars. You would be remiss to think that Max Holloway's chin is the same as it was. It can't be. It can't be, because the last 3 fights have proven knockdown, knockout, knockdown. It's not the same chin. So I do not want to see him in there with Ilia Topuria again yet. I think he needs at least 1, if not 2 more wins before I'm happy to see him fight Ilya. And that's okay, because there are other things going on in that division. I want to see the Paddy fight. It's fun. I really want to see Paddy versus Ilya. Meritocratically, the right fight is Arman Sarukian versus Ilya. So those 2 should be ahead of the queue at the moment to fight Ilya. Max doesn't need to get involved in that right now. What I want to see Max Holloway do is defend the BMF belt like he is the champion, and which he is. I want to see him fight the likes of Charles Oliveira or Dan Hooker. That's what I want to see next for Max Holloway. And those are fights, both of them, where you go, these are going to be fantastic fights. I'd look forward to them, as I've said, way more than a lot of other undisputed title fights that could be made right now. So give me that. And if Max can defend the belt against Charles Oliveira or Dan Hooker, or maybe defend it against both of them, defend it twice, then he can fight Ilia Topuria again. But Max is in a great spot, because it's like, you don't need to go for the undisputed belt. You're well loved, you're well paid, and you've got a belt wrapped around you. You can headline pay-per-views and earn that pay-per-view money. So you're good. Just keep doing that. That's what I'm interested in as a fan. What
Yeah.
about you? What do you want to see?
No,
him do?
Fighting Elias Poirier, I do not want to see that. I think fight. You know, when I sort of said about the fighters that are in the mold of the BMF, it's Oliveira and it's Hooker, and don't get me wrong, I think you could maybe throw Conor McGregor in that mix, but I don't think we're going to see him fight again anyway. But I think if he was to come back and there was any kind of belt thrown around, it would be that. But yeah, and I think that's where the fun fights are, and that's where I think Max clearly shines brightest, and that's what we want. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. What an absolute legend, and yeah, I think I could. I didn't care who won of the weekend. Didn't care, because they're both just absolute prime examples of what fantastic people do compete in mixed martial arts, and it does make, you know, other fighters that might be sending pictures of their ding dongs to rappers and stuff like that even more bleak and tragic. And yeah, it's a shame that more of the press don't write about the class act that he's into and how that went down at the weekend, and all the stuff after the fight had just good people, absolute ambassadors for the sport, and Hall of Famers. Yeah, legends. Right. Paulo Costa versus Ron Kopolov. Enjoy that?
Yeah, it was a good fight. It was all right. I think it came after an incredible fight. So, you know, but it was still a decent fight. I think it was the best Paulo Costa's looked in a really long time.
100%. It was definitely a bit more vintage Costa.
Yeah, it was the best he'd looked for a long time. In terms of going forward, the beef with Khamzat is real, and Paulo Costa is a name. But I don't think if Khamzat beats Dricus that you can give Paulo a title shot. I mean, stranger things have happened. I wouldn't put it past the UFC, but I think he's got to get at least one more before they do something like that. And again, there is a queue. You've got Borralho versus Imavov coming up. The winner of that should be fighting for the belt. I mean, if Michael Venom Page beats Jared Cannonier, that's probably a good shout for someone that could then be one away from a title shot. So, yeah, you got Renier de Ridder. If he beats Robert Whittaker, then Renier de Ridder has got a good shout at being next for a title shot as well. So I don't think Costa can jump the queue. But the beef with Khamzat does give him a chance, because the UFC likes storylines, and you never know if someone drops out and it's like, oh, we got 2 or 3 weeks notice, who do we call? Paulo Costa's a good one to call. He's also a fresh matchup for Dricus, if Dricus were to win. But I think actually what's more likely is if Khamzat loses to Dricus, you make Khamzat v Costa. Yeah. That is dead on. So Paulo Costa has played a really good game. He's given the best performance he's given in a long time. And then on the mic, he set something up where it's like, if Khamzat's the champ, I'm in the conversation, but I'm probably not getting the shot. But if Khamzat loses, I get a massive fight against Khamzat Chimaev, because there's no reason why the UFC don't make that fight if Khamzat loses. So to me, I think Costa's done like A+ all around for his night's work on Saturday.
Absolutely. D-Rod, Kevin Holland.
Boy, this was such a fun scrap. Like, I'm really looking forward to going back and rewatching this fight. The next time D-Rod and Kevin Holland have a fight book, I'm going to be like, oh, I need to go and rewatch some of their fights so I know what to expect. Oh, I'm just going to go and watch that fight for fun. Even if their opponent is nothing like the other one, I'm just going to go, I just got to go and rewatch that one. It was a proper old school scrap. You could see they were getting tired, but they weren't giving up, just swinging. And it was great fun, man.
And it's, you know, it's a big win for D-Rod, I think. But having the name Kevin Holland on your record is, you know, it's the biggest name that he's beaten. Was he? Am I right in saying was he an early matchup for Ian Gary?
Who, D-Rod? Yeah. I think D-Rod's lost to Ian Gary. Was that the head kick?
Can't remember.
Yeah, I think Ian Gary head kicked him.
But yeah, like super fun fight, and props to Kevin Holland. I think he's fighting tonight as well.
Well, didn't he want to try and get 7 fights in a year in, and that was his number, like 4 or 5 or something like that. And so I don't think he's going to be given another one. Well, after that, he needs a break.
Yeah.
They both do. Yeah. After a fight like that, they need a break. But I love Kevin Holland's attitude of just like, I'm not going to fight for a belt. I'm not really interested. I just want to make loads of money and fight loads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I respect that so much.
The UFC respect that.
Yeah, he's the new Donald Cerrone, isn't he? Yeah. He's like, I'm not going to be a champ.
That's a great shout, that bloke.
Yeah. He's not going to be a champ, but he's going to fight so regularly that the fans will love him. And he puts on fun fights as well. Yeah. He'll lose some, he'll win some, but he's probably on a decent contract because he fights so often that they have to renew his contract so often. He's probably he's probably earning way more money than most of the roster, even though he's nowhere near title contention.
Yeah. Well,
flicks between weight classes as well.
Most fight twice a year, and he clocked 7 already. It's insane.
It is insane. In terms of what's next for Daniel Rodriguez, I've got sort of a few schools of thought here with it.
Does he break into the rankings?
Well, Kevin Holland was like, where was Holland? Was he like 11th, 13th? So yeah, he does break into the rankings because Kevin Holland was ranked. So he will get a ranking. Now, he can fight a young up-and-comer who's also just got ranked by beating Wonderboy Thompson. That's Gabriel Bonfim. Could fight him.
Did you think he won that fight, by the way?
I don't know that I do think he won that fight. I think I maybe scored that for Wonderboy, but it was close. And then the other one is some kind of give him someone his own age, because D-Rod is like 38 or whatever he is. Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is on a 4-fight losing streak. If you want to give Gilbert Burns... Yeah, give Gilbert Burns a chance to get in the win column. If Gilbert Burns loses to Daniel Rodriguez, 5-fight losing streak, I think you've got to hang it up, mate. But if Gilbert Burns can get a win against a guy that is not the caliber of guys he's lost to so far, then Gilbert Burns is still a top 10-ish, top 15 guy. We can build him back up again or whatever. So there's 2 different ways you can go there. Or there's the my little maverick pick, which is Daniel Rodriguez, with all due respect to him, and he's probably not going to like me saying this, he's never going to fight for a belt. Mm-hmm. Kevin Holland doesn't care about fighting for a belt. We've just seen a fight of the year contender. Just book it again. just book it again.
Yeah.
Give him a few months off and say, look, guys, chill out. That was an absolute banger. In November, like Madison Square Garden, do it again for us because it was really good fun and the fans will love it. Just do that. We'll pay you a bit extra, D-Rod, because we know you've got the win. You're on like a 3 or 4 fight win streak now. But we loved this fight. Could you just do it again for us, please? Just do that.
No one's going to moan about that, mate.
Well, D-Rod might, but...
Yeah, but pay him handsomely. And,
pay him a bit of money.
And everyone
just do
wins.
It again, because it was brilliant. Do it again.
Okay.
Imagine that. Do you know what? That would be a reason to do it. Imagine if you had 2 of your fights against the same guy as Fight of the Year contenders. When they're running down the Fight of the Years, they're like, oh, Poirier Holloway 3, Holland D-Rod 1, Brandon Royval Josh Van, Holland D-Rod 2. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we move on to Pitbull? Gets his first win in the UFC against Dan Ige. You enjoy that?
Yeah, I didn't think it was necessarily a clear-cut decision for me. Maybe I'm being silly there. But like, I wasn't mad at the decision, but I thought Ige won round 1, Pitbull won round 2, and round 3 I thought was really close. Mm-hmm. And you could have given it to Ige, but maybe I'm just being crazy.
Do you think there's any of them top 10 fighters in the UFC that are looking at Pitbull that has come to this organisation with such a reputation and has fought twice in the UFC? Do you think anybody in that top 10 is going, oh, I don't want that smoke?
No, I think they'd love it. I think it'd be a great fight for someone like Arnold Allen or someone like that to take because it's a big name And I think he's just too old. He's 38. If Pitbull came to the UFC when he was 33 or 32, he could have made a really good run. But I don't believe he's good enough anymore. He's just too old. He was great. He's still very good. You know, as he's proven against Ige, he's like a top 10 guy or whatever. In terms of going forward, like he showed a really well-rounded game, by the way. Like he showed his grappling and he's got power, which is great. So like he's not a walkover for anyone. I don't want people to think I'm disrespecting him saying, oh, anyone in the top 10 just smashes him. But I do think most people in the top 10 will be looking at it going, yeah, that'll be okay. I can do that. And the fact that he's a big name gives you even more impetus to want to fight him. And there's loads of tape on him as well. You can study him loads. Sterling is fighting Brian Ortega, I believe. The loser of that could fight Pitbull, and that'd be good. The winner of that could fight Pitbull, and it'd be good. I don't mind either way. Arnold Allen, as I said, could be a good one for Arnold Allen to come back to. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's obviously been injured for a long, long time. I always feel sorry for Arnold Allen. He puts on like good fights, good performances, but he can only fight usually like once a year or so because of the injuries. It's really difficult for him. I'll tell you what I'd love to see though. If I could have, you know, the magic matchmaker's pen and book a fight, I'd do what you wouldn't want me to do. And I would bring back Jose Aldo to fight Pitbull.
Just leave him alone.
That's what I would do. I would bring him back. Two legends of the game, two Brazilian legends. Age-wise, they're probably quite similar. If anything, Pitbull's probably older than Aldo. And
look,
that'd be a super fight. That'd be a sick fight. Aldo versus Pitbull.
Yeah.
Make it in Brazil. Oh,
that would be great. But I think Aldo knows he's done that. Like,
I think Aldo still looked good. Like he looked good in the. Didn't he look good in the Zahabi fight?
Mm-hmm.
Or did he get knocked out? I can't. Or was he winning and then he gassed himself out or something?
Yeah, he absolutely blew himself out. He thought he was going to stop him, didn't he? He just absolutely went for it and
gassed out.
But
yeah,
okay.
I'd watch that fight.
What other fights do you want to talk about from the card?
Well, we can quickly just mention Michael Johnson, big underdog against Zellhuber. 39-year-old Michael Johnson against 26-year-old
win streak now.
Zellhuber. Is he? Yeah, well, there you go. Michael Johnson just like rolling back the years. Zellhuber was a huge favourite in that fight, and Michael Johnson put on a really great performance. Now, I've got a confession to make. I did not watch Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Did you watch it?
No.
Oh, well, there you go. You just don't care. I bet that's a good fight. And Vinicius Oliveira, I know, got the win, and he is looking good. But it was one of those weird moments where I'd been watching the UFC for about 2 hours in the living room, and people were awake.
My reason as well.
Yeah, and I was just like, because I watched the main card first, then I watched the prelims from the beginning of the prelims, and I did fast forward a couple of bits and try and flick through, get some results and see some finishes and all that kind of stuff. But by the time Vinicius Oliveira and Kyler Phillips go to war, that is basically like I've already watched 2 and a bit hours of UFC. And if the kids are awake and my wife's downstairs and all that stuff, I start to feel the guilt coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't keep taking up the living room with violence. So, yeah, I didn't watch
Brendan Allen versus Vettori?
I did watch Brendan Allen Vettori. I was interested in that. I watched that. That was a great fight. That one fight of the night, and I actually think it might have been the third best fight of the evening, which is crazy. It was still a really good fight, really fun fight. Brendan Allen won. Obviously, it was a long time in the making, this fight, because they had that beef in the hotel lobby, didn't they?
That's right.
A year and a bit ago, where they were scrapping. So this fight's been a long time coming. Brendan Allen gets the win. I think Allen's really like improving in all areas. I do think maybe he has a ceiling, but it wasn't long ago that we were saying, oh my God, Brendan Allen might be a win or two away from a title shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still the case. Didn't he lose to Fluffy Hernandez?
Yeah.
So I do think he's a little way off, but he's going to be ranked 10th. And yeah, he could have a big fight. The loser of Whittaker Derrida, he could fight. I mean, Israel Adesanya I don't know what he's going to do next. He's on a 3-fight losing streak.
Who's Cannonier fighting?
MVP.
Of course.
So that's good. So that middleweight division has got a lot going on because Fluffy Hernandez is fighting Roman Dolidze. Cannonier is fighting MVP. Renier Derrida is fighting Robert Whittaker. Hamzat is fighting Dricus for the belt. I believe Imavov is fighting Baralio as well. So there's going to be an awful lot of movement and stuff sorted out in that weight division in the next month or two. And I'm really here for it. I like to see that movement in the division. It keeps busy. Things are shifting all the time. And the cream will rise to the top, as they say.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about. We could, I don't know how long we've been running, but we could have a quick look forward to this weekend, because this weekend is Whittaker versus Derrida. I haven't done any research on this yet. I know that the co-main event is not happening. Movsar Evloev is injured. So I don't know what's happening with Aaron Pico, but Movsar Evloev, God, man, that guy, he can't catch a break, man. I don't know if he's shooting himself in the foot or if it's just bad luck. But he had that fight against Arnold Allen, which Dana White said was incredibly boring. It wasn't. That's really unfair. But I do think Arnold Allen won that fight and Evloev didn't win that fight, but Evloev walked away with the win. And then since then, what did he do? Did he beat Bryce Mitchell, or was that before or something like that?
Well, Bryce Mitchell's on this card. He's fighting, Nurmagomedov, topping the prelims.
So he's making his bantamweight debut, isn't he?
Yeah. And
Shara Magomedov is fighting Marc-Andre Barrio. Petr Yan is fighting Marcus McGee. That's a huge fight for Marcus McGee.
Yeah.
Huge fight for Marcus McGee.
And our very own top lad and former guest of the show, Davey Grant.
Yes.
He's also fighting Damon Blackshear on... Amanda Rebus is fighting Tabitha Ricci. It's not a bad little card, mate.
Yeah, it's a shame because the Evloev-Pico fight would have been really captivating and interesting. Like Pico's debut, a lot of hype around him. Evloev, one win surely should mean the UFC can't stop him from getting his title shot. But unfortunately, it hasn't happened. Evloev, as far as I'm aware, he's not been rebooked against anyone. So maybe they're looking to just push the Evloev fight back or give him someone else on a different stage. But it's still a decent card. It's Mitchell versus Said Nurmagomedov is a good fight. I know that we don't want to necessarily be hyping up someone like Bryce Mitchell, but there you go. Nikita Krylov is always a fun fight to watch. He's one of those fighters that, he's either going to finish you or get finished against Bogdan Guskov. Shara Magomedov, always a fun fighter to watch. Petr Yan, Marcus McGee, great fight. And then the main event, Robert Whittaker, Renier Derrida. If Whittaker wins, I don't know what he gets for it. But if Renier Derrida wins, I think he's very close to a title shot. So
100%.
that will be an interesting one this weekend. And actually, now that I look at it, because it is in Abu Dhabi, it makes me think it is going to be, a nice, healthy kind of Saturday night British time card. So we'll get to watch that live if we want to, or you probably won't. You'll probably be working.
I don't think I am.
Ooh. Look at you. It's my brother's birthday this weekend, so I might have to see if he's around.
I've got a super rare night off, and if I then just say to my missus, she's like, what are we going to do? Why don't you go with your friends and I can just sit indoors on my own and watch UFC? Like, I don't think that's going to go down too well, mate.
Oh, mate, I was going to say come round to mine. Come and watch the fights.
Could be good, mate. Could be good. All right. Well, look, we'll report back.
That's a no, isn't it? Whiffing. They've all heard it. All the MMA fans have just heard it. Yeah, could be good. Could be good. That's a no, mate. That is a no, and you know it. Absolutely face palmed out of it.
Look, We will be back next week. You will find out whether I'll go around Blake's to watch the event.
Spoiler alert, he ain't coming. Spoiler alert, he's staying at home or he's doing something else.
And we will discuss, I'm sure, everything that goes down at that event. And yeah, I don't know what else we'll be discussing on next week's show because we've not even had a conversation about it ourselves yet. But we will be back next week with some good stuff for you.
We'll be back next week. Maybe we'll talk about this card that Stu won't come around my house to watch. Right.
Let's do that.
Bye.
All right. See you later.